Hello, welcome back. Thanks for joining me, and let's check this out. Have a listen to this. Great track, producers CTSD and Nemrac. Motor Memorandum is the track. I had the pleasure of mastering this earlier in the year, so I've wanted to bring the session up and show you why I've used the event-tied SplitEQ for this track. It's quite the Swiss Army knife, this EQ. As suggested by the name, it gets the incoming signal and splits it into a transient response and a tonal response, and we can then process them and EQ those different responses differently and separately. Green, transient, blue, tonal. The colors are peppered throughout the whole plugin, so it's quite easy to get an understanding of what you're processing. The beauty is we can solo the transient response only, tonal response only, globally for the whole incoming audio signal, or we can solo each band like any other parametric EQ, right? So in this situation, there was three things I wanted to tackle. I was able to do all three in the one plugin. The low end, I wanted to bring a bit more warmth underneath. There's two metallic perks that sort of come every bar, which are quite a little bit aggressive for my liking. So I just wanted to control them a little bit, but not do them a disservice. So I wanted to bring down the transient response a little bit, so it wasn't poking out as much, but then boost the tonal area around there, because the track is so rich in harmonics and the great sound designers. It's quite full. So I did that. The tonal came up, but the transient came down. Lastly, getting to the top end. The top end's got a lot of nice thin decay percussion sounds in there, which I wanted to be more present, not from volume or air. I didn't want to make the mix brighter. I wanted to actually bring the detail of the transient more forward, so it was, you could hear it more, right? If I was going to go for brightness, yeah, that's an air band, a higher shelf, and processing it with a range of other EQs, but that wasn't the case here. The transients I wanted to bring up and let them shine a little bit more. So what we'll do is I'll put the plugin, I'll turn the plugin off. We'll have a listen to the loop again. Then we'll turn it back on. They're going to be volume matched, so you'll hear the difference. Have some headphones on. It's a subtle difference, but there is a difference. So let's check this out with the EQ off. Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to solo down here. This is when you solo the whole EQ. Green will go transient. This is what we're listening to. This is what we're processing. And then together. So obviously the transient, we're going to get those more thinner attack, pluckier sounds from the mix. The tonal is going to be more of the sustain, the body, the smear of that audio, right? So turning it back on with the three things I wanted to address. These metallic hits that come out, they're just a little bit too much. So if we solo band 4, that's the band together. Then we have the luxury of choosing. I wanted to bring that down. About there. What I did in band 4, I did similar in band 5, just a little bit smaller and not as loud, because then we're right at that sort of peak of the higher percussion side on the transient side, where it gets a bit shinier, a bit brighter, a bit harsher. I wanted to just control that a little bit on the transient response, but then because it's so rich in harmonics and sound, have the tonal still present and bring that up and have that trade-off. But then when we get to the top end of the mix, it was a case of bringing the transients out, not so much the making the mix brighter. So if we listen to this here, this is the high shelf. You can hear all those little sounds. So I've done the opposite there. 4 and 5, I've sort of ducked the transients up to tonal. We get to the high end, the tonals come down, and the transient responses come up. Now starting at, sorry, 5.4 should be 5.1. It's starting around there. It's only 2.6. I had it at 3.1. The beauty is, if we go, let's hear what it's doing. There's going to be a perceivedness of air and brightness, obviously, because we're affecting that audio, that region, sorry. But, you know, that's 8 dB there, and I haven't volume matched after that boost, but we're not killing the high end, right? It's bringing out the detail of those transients. So going up high to hear what it's really doing, then bringing it back down. And I had it about 3.1 or something. Adds a nice little bit of detail. Now in the low end, this is soloing both together. We go to transient. Get more of that punch. That's just a small shelf, a low shelf coming up from 64, but it's starting around 180 or so. But then the tonal side, so that should be down there. I'll sort of yin-yanging it like that, up around the 60 hertz range, and then together. So let's listen again. EQ's on, and I'll turn it off. We want to keep an eye out for those hits. They're not going to be as aggressive. The top end transients are going to come out a little bit more, and the low end's going to have a bit more weight. So let's check it out. EQ on, then off. And their volume match. So there you have it. That was my approach. That's what I wanted to address within this plugin, and it works really well. It's quite easy to use at the start. It was a little bit just maybe for me to get used to having the two settings and the different colors, even though I knew what they were processing. It just took a little bit used to sort of, you know, move around. They both move at the same time. You can tweak things individually down here. You can change the cue size and the volume separately, of course. Great for mixing as well. You can change the source incoming, where, you know, if you're working on a kick or snare, you can change that and then work from that point onwards. Obviously, the soloing capability is fantastic, especially when you're new to using it. You can just really do some testing and solo just to really understand what you are processing and what the real difference is between the transient and the tonal response that the plugin splits for you. So I find it really easy to use. It's been great in mastering. It's got so many uses also in mixing, sometimes on synths where I want more of the pluck, more of the notes to come out more. I can boost and play with the transient side of things, but then on the tonal side, I can remove some of that body, some of that sustain to really help open the synth up on top of my processing outside of that. So check it out. I hope this was informative. The producer's details are down below. Check them out also. And until next time, we'll see you next week. Thank you.